leave up this Ron Friends cover of for Dynamite Thor while I'm home.
Baby, Ron Friends. Can I tell you how much I love Ron Friends and how much Ron Friends changed my life?
So John, we've been talking this whole time. Now that Edwin's gone, here's your chance to talk about Dynamite Thor.
What's going on now that Edwin's gone? So I got this cover by Ron Friends, and as you know, Ron Friends is most famous for doing the greatest comic book of all time, which is of course Spider-Girl, as Comic Book Hut knows. And he also worked on a couple things called like Amazing Spider-Man and The Mighty Thor. So semi-popular compared to Spider-Girl, but Spider-Girl was his deal, and Spider-Girl is what changed my life because it is the greatest comic book of all time, written by the greatest comic book writer of all time, Tom DeFalco. And indisputed. I don't think anybody, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And so I've always wanted to work with Ron. It's been a dream of mine forever, and finally I've got a following, and people are buying my books, so I can just hire artists to do things. It's pretty great, which is why I hired George to do my next book here, which I'm excited about. George is a great artist also. And you're really, really, really ridiculously good looking, so don't worry about it.
I'm married. That's all I need. I need one person to love me. That's all I care about. The rest of the world can hate me.
Cool. Yeah. Comic Book Hut says, what JDA? So, yeah, Comic Book Hut is aware that Ron Friends is the greatest comic book artist of all time, of the greatest comic book, Spider-Girl. So that is, I'll mail you a copy of Spider-Girl, like complete collection, Comic Book Hut, because it's basically my Dianetics, but comic book.
You think they're Dianetics? Do you have an announcement that you want to tell us about?
Now that I've lost the entire audience here, great. But Dynamite Thor is a ridiculously fun superhero, and he's not my creation. He came about in 1951 from a company called Fox Comics, and he debuted in a book called Weird Comics, issue number 6, right after a 5-issue run of a book of a story just called Thor. So issues 1 through 5 just had this book called Thor, which had nothing to do with Dynamite Thor, but was actually the God of Thunder Thor appearing in human form and kind of being a superhero in 1951. Prior to Marvel Comics, just saying. And then they just canceled that for whatever reason. I guess it wasn't selling. Not a very popular idea, right? And then they just came out with Dynamite Thor in the next issue. And you're thinking, wow, what does he have to do with Thor? I mean, I guess everybody would probably think that at that point, since Thor was coming out the 5 issues prior. But nothing. His name just is Peter Thor, like as a character. And he throws dynamite, so he's Dynamite Thor. And that's it. So absolutely ridiculous. And the best part is he's like super concerned about his secret identity in those books. So he goes around and he just goes by, like, people call him Dynamite. And they're just like, who are you really, Dynamite? And he's like, not saying, I have to get going. And he doesn't wear a mask or anything. So it's just utter golden age ridiculousness and super fun. Now, his powers are that he's immune to explosives. So he can chuck explosives and be free from the harm of any effects. What does this mean, and what are the limits of it? Like, is he free from the effects of shrapnel from the explosives? I guess so. I have no idea. Like, they did not define anything. They did not think it through whatsoever. I was on with Tim earlier, and they had an issue where he is running across the city on electrical wires, atop, and he's just using them to cut through traffic. So I guess he's immune to electricity. I don't know. Somebody asked me earlier if he is immune to bullets, because bullets are technically propelled by explosions, right? Great question. It's not actually addressed in any of the Golden Age books. So my Peter Thor / Dynamite Thor, as far as the bullet question goes, he's not willing to test it to find out because he's smart. So, so that's it. But he uses explosives, as you can see in this cover here, to propel himself through the air in flight. So he actually has he sticks sticks of dynamite behind him, and he blasts it off into into the air, and then he just throws more behind him, and he's very accurate with this. So I guess he's just very good with dynamite all the way around, and that's the whole crux of the character right there. So I found that concept absolutely ridiculous and absolutely charming, and so I reimagined him for modern times. And I thought the best way to have a character who's immune to explosives and dealing with explosives all the time would be to stick him in the middle of Reconstruction Iraq. And he is a no-bid contractor in Iraq, working on behalf of America to reconstruct things, and he is a demolition specialist. And so we're doing great things like going around like blowing up Iraqi schools and bridges, and all in the name of freedom. So he runs into some problems with the locals, and hijinks ensues. So that's my whole concept in a nutshell of the reimagining. And I just went off the charts wacky. We have a lot of fun twists and turns with terrorists. Edwin, would you like me to send some pictures that are not suitable for Kickstarter consumption that I did not put on Kickstarter as a preview?
Yeah, if you can tweet them to me.
All right. Let me grab a couple here. So we have some fun stuff going on that I don't want to get banned from Kickstarter. Let's just call it that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you gotta be a good citizen of the platform that you're on. Respect the sensibilities.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to tweet a couple of these to you. I got to crop one real quick because I just have it in a too big of a file to send over Twitter. But we have interior covers. I'm sending you one of them, which is good quality fun, which Kickstarter wouldn't like, I'm sure. And then I've got a lettered page here to kind of show what Dynamite Thor is up against. This is one of his villains, and we'll send that to you also.
All right, and audience, how were the boys while I was gone? They didn't give you the coronavirus or the SARS while I was gone, did they?
Aren't both of those Asian in origin?
Man.
Terrible.
Man. Hey, I have a question for you, Edwin. Do you eat Spam?
Occasionally, but only in moderation. Yeah, but I usually get the teriyaki Spam. Is my favorite
Teriyaki Spam.
It tastes so good. It's
What?
so good.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation.
Looks like the Dynamite Thor is comforting an esteemed Islamic cleric or scholar.
Yes. This is a very peaceful religion of peace representative, and Dynamite Thor is probably just going to take him for a ride via flight. Is probably what's happening here.
Well, this appears to be like a celebration here. I see Dynamite Thor has got his sparklers out. So this,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's smiling. So definitely happy. So.
Well, he's enjoying himself so much that he's telling the cameraman, "Put that camera away. We're having too much fun here.
Yeah.
Don't post this on Instagram."
Yeah, we had way too much fun with this book. It's just like I just couldn't stop laughing while making it, and I think it shows. So, but very serious here. We've got another nice man from the religion of peace here, and he's going to a school which was constructed by Americans, and so he's very not happy with that existing in Al-Qadem, I believe it's pronounced. Up in northern Iraq there. And he's going to show his dissatisfaction, in a very democratic way. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
so, yeah.
This is what democracy looks like.
Yeah, so, yes, there's a lot of this. Dynamite Thor has to fight terrorists. And, for guys who blow themselves up, he can handle that pretty well typically compared to other superheroes. However, there's a huge twist with this right here, and you'll find out about it later in the book. I don't want to give it away, but let's just say there's a suicide bomber with experience.
All right, let's see. We got some questions. Asuka says, Edwin, do you like Spam and pineapple pizza? Pineapple does not belong on pizza. Pineapple is not even Hawaiian. It was something that was brought here as a plantation crop. But no, pineapple does not belong on pizza. That is, I'll eat it. I'm not repulsed by it. It's just wrong, to be honest. It is the wrong flavor profile.
I love that dull plantation, though.
Oh yeah,
apple there.
Oh yeah, you go through the maze, you feed the koi, you go for the little railroad ride. Hawaii is where most of the world's pineapples used to be grown. That's no longer the case, but so now the old Dole pineapple plantation is kind of a tourist stop. But you go there, you get you some pineapple ice cream. That is good stuff. Cross Comic says Hawaiian pizza started in Canada. Well, that sounds.
It's probably true.
That sounds like madness. All right, so we got Dynamite Thor from Jon Del Arroz. We got Dynamite Thor from Jon Del Arroz.
Oh, I forgot to talk about the best part about this. We've got so the other thing we decided to do, since this is a Golden Age character, was actually go through and restore all of the Golden Age stories. So I've got my basic book, which you can get for $20, which is a full graphic novel, and then on top of that, we're going through, and it's if you scroll all the way down, there's actually a little sample image of that past all these, and there it is. You got it. Cool. So we actually took the scans that we could find of all the Dynamite Thor that exists, which is there's 6 stories, including him. And we are cleaning them up with fresh digital colors just to make for a nice reading experience for the modern audience. And we're staying absolutely true to it. So, like, sometimes he's got a T on his chest. Sometimes he doesn't. The artist was not consistent with that. Sometimes he's got, this little, like, explosive, like, bang thing on his chest. Sometimes it's just a red suit. I mean, it was all over the map for this art. But we're staying absolutely true to what was originally there and true to the original artistic vision here. And just presenting these comics to a modern audience for the first time. So I'm very excited about that too.
Very cool. You know what you might want to do, though? You might want to increase the resolution on this image.
Yeah, this is a low-res image. So
that people can see how much of a shift it is.
Yeah, I think the white versus the yellow fading colors is is good enough for the Kickstarter page. But yeah, we've got full high-res images that are extremely high resolution. So it'll turn out really nice once it's in print form.
All right, we have got The Mary Sue by George Alexopoulos. The Mary Sue. Now I saw